Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you are here. Today I actually wanted to take advantage of being outside as the summer is coming to an end and we're getting into fall, and I wanted to go over the second part in this series, and that will be warehouse fulfillment for your small business or just businesses in general. So let's get into the video. Here we have so much that we're going to cover today, but first, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like this video, as I'm going to share so much information about warehouse fulfillment. Now, in the first video, I had discussed a lot, well, the first video in this series, rather, I discussed a lot about drop shipping, but as well as the other two methods, and one of the methods was warehouse fulfillment, but there are three that you really use when you're getting into retail. I have my notebook here just because there's so much that I am going to cover with you guys. This video pretty much is going to be the pros and cons of warehouse fulfillment, as not many people are aware of that process, trying to get into retail or have an e-commerce store online. Now, as far as the pros, I would say the first pro would be that when you're working with warehouse fulfillment, the shipping price, they're cheaper, mainly because they work with so many different brands at one time, and they process so many orders and large orders that some of your major shipping companies like UPS or even USPS, FedEx, all of those give them a cheaper price, because, like, if anything, you buy it more in quantity, it's cheaper, right? So per unit. So it's the same thing when it comes to warehouse fulfillment. Now, so the other side of that, they also have a lot of partnerships with even more shipping companies outside of maybe the major ones that you are aware of that maybe partner with some of the larger ones. I know Amazon does a lot of fulfillment as well. So those partnerships actually are really formulated for those larger warehouses to push out so much of that material. Another pro actually would be that your shipping times when it comes to your orders is actually a lot shorter. And the reason why that is, again, is because when they shipping out your stuff, they're shipping it out for maybe 40 other brands. So they're like, hey, we got to push out 10,000 units today, and your product more than likely can get to your customer within that same week. Now, my favorite one is what I will be discussing next and getting more detail, because I have more information about that as far as my personal experience. But when it comes to warehouse fulfillment, that is definitely a pro, because again, as I mentioned in the previous video, you want your customer experience to be as seamless and as flawless from beginning to end as possible, right? So with that being said, those are two of the main pros I can think of off the top of my head, but shipping time as well as shipping costs is definitely a major plus when it comes to warehouse fulfillment. Now, the third one was something that I really went into a little bit more detail about, and it's really because it's tried and true, right? A lot of your major clothing stores like Forever 21, Zara, Fashion Nova, Topshop, all of those places, Boohoo, they more than likely, no, not more than likely, it is known that they have warehouse fulfillment services that they pay for in order to get these orders out quickly and as efficiently as possible. But you also notice too with those larger brands, they don't really customize their packaging so much. So it's more so like they may have customized, like the bags may be customized, or maybe they have some of their logo stuff in there, or a postcard or something, just to promote their business, so that way you know it's from these places. But it's not really like how you could, or maybe what you have noticed with some of these other companies that are more small business or mid-sized businesses, where they have specialized packaging. You can tell it is a business that's saying like, hey, we're establishing our brand, we want you to know us, to remember us, and this is what we do, this is what we specialize in. And that's probably a good segue into the cons, right? So with warehouse fulfillment, because they are working with so many brands, it's really hard for them to really cater to your company. And on top of that, they charge you. They charge you pretty much for everything. They charge you for housing all of your materials. Now this ranges, and like I said, I've done this research just to know a little bit more about this process as my company will grow. And depending on the warehouse, those prices can range from $75 to $250, $300, $500 a month. just to be able to house your stuff. This is not shipping anything. This is not processing any of your orders. This is not no special situation. This is not a increase in orders and shipments and all that stuff. Those are additional fees. So your bare minimum is already paying for the overhead, but most people don't realize how much the overhead may be. So it can range, like I said, a little less than $100 to about $500 for them to house your materials. Now, this part I did have to do more research about when it came to the branding experience. So they also add on costs for not only, just like I said before, storage fees, but also what is called pick and pack fees. So basically what that means is when you are processing your orders through your warehouse fulfillment partnership, they are going to charge you fees depending on how many employees of their own employees are they going to have to employ by the hour. So you could be paying $50 an hour to process, let's say if you had 1,000 orders or 200 orders, 300 orders, and it took 10 employees, you're paying 10 employees $50 an hour on behalf of the warehouse fulfillment partnership. Now, I did look at some different companies, and some of them do work differently, but I saw that was like a general thing where you will be paying hourly. Now, some will ask for that amount hourly as a flat rate, and others will say that's per employee that's being employed to handle this process. It just depends on the companies that you use, and I'll name some of them or list some of them below in the comments or the information section below, but I'll also name a few here for you as well. But I heard that a lot of people say that's more so what the cons is with the warehouse fulfillment. It's very convenient, and as I mentioned in the previous video, it's pretty much really good for you if you have so many orders and you're able to have and you have the capital to be able to buy a lot of your items in bulk. Like when I say in bulk, I'm saying at least a minimum of 500 to 1,000 units, and you're like, I need somewhere to house this. And then when an order is placed in your store, that can be sent directly to your warehouse fulfillment partner, and they're processing your order. Now, there is some customization that comes with warehouse fulfillment. You can send them like your postcards, as far as with your items, if it already has your tags on them, that's already great, because they will charge you to be branding like all of your materials, your clothing items, or whatever the case may be. So again, everything has a fee. So as much as you can do on your own to lower that cost before you're doing that, it's more than likely ideal. But like I said before, I feel like once you get to a certain point in the business, it just starts to make sense that you have someone else carry out all of that extra work, and you pay for the quality of the experience for your customer. So you will more than likely put up the money for that at that point in time. But that's why I said my favorite form or method of approaching retail will have to be the third one, and that's the one that is close to my heart, and it's one that I'm experiencing now with my company, and I'm so excited about it because I get to experience everything from beginning to end, and I'll get more in depth about that in the next video, as far as all the shipping, the handling, and the process of having your own products and shipping out your own products versus working with a third party or a fulfillment company, or another, like a vendor that's shipping out everything directly themselves, i.e. drop shipping or whatever the case may be. So with all that being said, I would love to know if there are any questions that you all may have specifically about this method, warehouse fulfillment, where to find more information. I will share also some of my resources. Like as far as like where I host my store and how informative they are, how helpful they are when it comes to answering some of the harder questions, like when it comes to starting your store. Let me know if that's something also too y'all want to see, like how to actually start your own store, and the sourcing process as far as finding vendors, because it is a very long process. Excuse the noise in the background. I can hear, I think it's a delivery right now actually for UPS, ironically. But yeah, so as far as with all of that, that's definitely something I can get into more detail about. But warehouse fulfillment is one that I feel like a lot of small businesses aspire to get to or aspire to use, just because it simplifies the entire process. But I do believe there is a beautiful sweet spot when it comes to you being able to see your inventory, ship it out yourself, and being able to know all of the details as far as how long it's going to take, what that process looks like, and then also your customer engagement, being able to experience that firsthand. So again, the first one is drop shipping, and that's in my previous video as far as with this series, and then this is the second video discussing about warehouse fulfillment and and discussing the pros and cons of how it works with your store. I do want to mention that with warehouse fulfillment, depending on your hosting site, there are integrations with warehouse fulfillment that makes that process as seamless as possible on your end, on the back end. So it literally sees when you have an order, it ships it, it emails or sends the information, and it does not share any private information for your customer. It doesn't share anything but what's needed for shipping. So none of their like credit card information, none of that personal information. That's only housed with you to be able to engage with your customer directly. But anything else is just more so just for shipping information, and that's sent over to the warehouse fulfillment partner. And from there, they may contact you if they have any questions or concerns as far as with that shipment. And that's pretty much it. Like after that, your customer get their package, and you had a cheaper shipping cost. Your customer had cheaper shipping costs, and it kind of just works out in that manner. But like I said, it's not the best method for a smaller business that may not have those type of quantities or that amount of orders, mainly because the overhead fees are kind of ridiculous. You can spend that money in so many other ways: more inventory, saving it, putting it to the side for a new collection, or whatever the case may be. So again, like I said, I want my videos to be informative, but also with some of my opinions as far as how all that works, and what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and I want to hear the same thing from you all. So again, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for learning with me.